Right-wing Canadian politicians might not like the CBC, but they are flocking to Fox News these days.
So the Alberta Premier, Danielle Smith, is here. Why do you think the idea of statehood is resonating with Canadians?
What started off as a joke seems to keep on coming back and back and back.
Yes, it keeps coming back and back and back like my lunch from Timmy's every time I see a Canadian politician on Fox. Premier Smith says it's a joke, and she's not the only one. Ontario Premier Doug Ford also bent over the border for Fox.
If I were a citizen of another country and I was a neighbor of the United States, I would consider it a privilege to be taken over by the United States of America. That's what everybody else in the world wants.
Well, you know, the president has a good sense of humor, and, you know, it's a funny comment. I guess he's still upset that, you know, in 1812 we burnt down your White House, and he's holding a grudge after 212 years.
We're in a trade war, Doug. Don't bring up the time we burned down the White House. Ford and Smith both said that Trump was just being funny. Well, let's see what old Carrot Top had to say last week.
You said you were considering military force to acquire Panama and Greenland. Are you also considering military force to annex and acquire Canada?
No, economic force. Because Canada and the United States, that would really be something.
Hilarious. How did we get here? What idiotic numbskull put this idea in Trump's head?
So I was in Mar-a-Lago over the weekend. I had a few moments with the president-elect.
Kevin O'Leary, Dragon, Shark, and Wish Donald Trump. Kevin is dressed like the white flag that Danielle is waving.
He says Premier Smith argued Canada's case by comparing the trade relationship to a marriage.
And so I understand marriages, they have tiffs sometimes.
Yes, and if there's one thing Donald Trump is known for, it's good marriages. Kevin, what did you do?
Canadian people are intrigued with Trump's suggestions. Low-hanging fruit like combining the currency, eliminating tariffs on milk and dairy. And now whether my request fell on deaf ears, I don't know.
Well, let's find out, Kevin. Donald?
They should be a state. We don't need their cars. We don't need their lumber. We have massive fields of lumber. We don't need their lumber. We don't need their milk. We got a lot of milk. We don't need anything they have.
Good job, Kevin, you traitorous egg-headed windbag. Look, if one more Canadian goes on Fox News to degrade my country, I swear to God, Now I want to see you eat it.
Excuse me? The hamburger.
The Big Mac, the president of all burgers. Well, you know, it's important to talk to both sides, and you got to... Okay, look. Yes, President Trump, you don't need our cars, lumber, or milk. But you know what we didn't need? We didn't need to send our troops to Afghanistan when people flew planes into your buildings. But we did. And we lost 158 Canadian Armed Forces members there. And we didn't need to let 38 of your planes land in Gander on 9/11 either. And we didn't have to send Canadian water bombers to put out the wildfires in California, but we did. Because we are your neighbors, we are your allies, we are the great white north, glorious and free, so just take the milk. Do yourself a favor, Donald. Stay on your side of the border and do us a favor and keep Kevin O'Leary with you.